So, good evening, afternoon, but happy Sunday. Hope you had a great week. My week was great. It was just really busy for work. I work for a nonprofit, and we had a lot of volunteering that I had to do this week. So I was all over learning how to do some stuff that I normally wouldn't do and probably won't do again. But it's all about just trying new stuff. So the things, first of all, like my friends or really close friends, which, yeah, that number is getting skimming down quite often in life. But my friends and my family, at least, definitely my family knows that I am far from an outdoors person. If it's not 75 degrees or higher, I'm not with it. If it involves playing in the dirt and all that, I'm not with it. I rather take a nap, get my hair done, nails done, get a spa day or something like that, or go on the beach. I'm just not a play in the dirt type of person at all. I don't like being in the woods, hiking, all that kind of stuff. I'll try it depending on the people that I'm with, but maybe after an hour, I'm like, all right, let's wrap it up. So, I say that because the things that I had to go to two different, I went to a farm. Well, actually, I went to 3 different farms one day. That part wasn't horrible, but it's still, the weather wasn't that great. So I was kind of in that mindset, all right, let's wrap this up kind of thing, but we did I forget what we did. We picked something, some kind of weeds or something. I don't know, something like that. Whatever they had to pick. Or to plant, not tomatoes. It was peppers. They had green peppers and stuff. So, but it was dirty. So I was like, all right, I just want to go home and take a shower. And then the other day, the most recent one, it was freezing to me on Friday. I went to this I don't even know what it was, a reserve or something. I'm not sure, but we had to go kind of, they were in the woods. I was not in the woods. I was outside of it, just waiting for it to wrap up. So yeah, that was an adventure this week for me. So I was honestly exhausted, and I'm glad we have Monday off. My boss gave us Monday off, which is cool, so I can kind of recuperate. And I'm recuperating today too. But overall, that was my week. It just flew by because I've just been busy and getting ready to go to, I have a work trip coming up soon too. So I'm excited for that because that's going to be in the sun, in Orlando. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, I've been just trying to get through the week, honestly. And Mercury retrograde is still in effect. It's definitely been impacting me. I've had work has been somewhat distracting, so I haven't really been emotionally impacted too much. And I had a therapy session, so that was kind of good to get me through the first beginning of the Mercury retrograde. But Mercury retrograde, this goes until October 2nd, and it impacts certain signs, and mine is one of them. Virgo is definitely impacted this season. So it's just been one of in those situations where God is really showing me things that I need to change in my life, especially my environment. I think God has been using this time to show me certain people that just things have ran its course, or just using discernment. And it's interesting because I was literally, I don't know if I talked about it on the last episode, I can't remember, but I had a conversation recently about practicing discernment and how to do that. And so I feel like I have been trying to do that better lately. And kind of what this episode is going to talk about is in a situation of what it means to practice discernment in certain situations when things occur. And so, yeah, that's something that I feel Mercury retrograde has been teaching me, just being aware of the people that are in my life and the situations that I'm in, and what needs to change, what needs to go. So to get into the episode, I'm going to talk about, it's a quote from Maya Angelou. And I saw it on TikTok, and I've heard it from Oprah before on a short clip that she has where she's talking about the quote and what it means. And so that's kind of where it's coming from today. Is also just like and it's also kind of made me think of it because of a situation that I recently had this weekend that made me think of it. So the quote is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And then that's like the short version of the quote. And then the other one is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. People know themselves much better than you do. That's why it's important to stop expecting them to be something other than who they are. And so, that to me is interesting because it is true. Like, when people show you who they are, believe them. But I think that a lot of times when you are the type of person that just when you move with certain, so that's why it's always important to know what your intentions are for yourself, and then also what other people. Like, if you're moving with genuine intentions to just be yourself and to get to know people, give them a chance, if you're a genuinely nice person, you're going to be nice. It's just in your nature. You're not going to be on edge with people or assuming the worst out of someone or trying to go out of your way to treat them badly or something, because that's not how you move, right? And so sometimes I think it's hard for people like that to see when someone, or to, maybe you might see it, but you don't, you kind of get in that space where you're like, nah, that person wouldn't do that to me because I wouldn't do that to them. And for what? Like, there's no issues here. But sometimes there is issues. It's just you're not the one who has the issue, it's the other person. And I think it's important to be able to be open to that, to knowing that there are people that are going to not like you because of what you highlight that they might not like about themselves, or what's going on in their life, or whatever. It's usually just projection. And what this quote is saying about, like, people know themselves much better than you do. And it's true, though, because we as humans, we get to determine what we show to people about ourselves. So if knowing that, if someone knows that, say Susie knows that she's jealous of Jane because Susie is already, thinking that, oh, I don't have this in my life, or I'm insecure about this or whatever. Because first of all, everybody has insecurities, but it's just I think it's even, being conscious and like confident enough to know that you have insecurities and that they don't define you. But if you're coming from a space of allowing your insecurities to define you, then you can feel like you're in competition with other people, and then you potentially will show a certain version of yourself, right? Because most people are not going to show another person that, oh, I'm jealous of you or something like that, or my intention. If they have ill intentions for someone, they're not going to show it usually off the jump. If anything, they're going to try to get in with that person and make them feel comfortable, and then do little things to kind of like, highlight where they're really coming from. But what the quote is saying about people know themselves much better than you do, I think that part is saying, like, when you catch certain things that happen where you're like, hold up, was that shade, or was this part, what's up with it? Like, what's up with you? Why are you coming at me that way, kind of thing? Or that's when someone's showing you who they are. You have to believe that person knows who they are. So if they're showing that about you, about themselves, then that's more than likely a fact of who they are. And so don't try to try to make an excuse for them, or I think that's when it's like people are, oh, this person would never do me like that. Like, no, you don't determine what that person will never do. Only that person can determine what they would never do to you, right? And so when you see things, just taking it with a grain of salt and making a decision about, okay, well, clearly this person isn't who I thought they were, and you have to know who you are and who you want around you, and then make your decision from there. That's why it's important, like it says, to stop expecting them to be something other than who they are. If they're showing you that they're like a jealous person or a deceitful person, or you catch them in a lie, then that's who they are. Like, you can't you can't expect them to be something that they aren't. That just reminds me of a DMX thing that I saw too. I don't remember if I posted it, but he said the same thing. Like, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And then he went into this as well. So I'm going to look up that too to make sure I can post it, because I like DMX too. And he used to talk about a lot of good stuff too. So, yeah, I just felt like this message was important, because especially in conjunction with Mercury retrograde, because I feel like that could be a situation where the universe is trying to show you, like, hey, you know what, this person's time is up, and it could be the smallest thing. But I think that something I realized or remembered this weekend was that, like, you have to trust your intuition. When something doesn't seem right, 9 times out of 10, it's usually something is not right. And you don't have to sometimes you don't even need to know the details of what's not right. As long as you know, like, this is not for me. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be around these people, or I shouldn't be doing this. Then you have to just go with that, and you have to trust that happened for a reason, and God was using that to show you, like, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to be around them. This is not from me, And so being able to trust that and not try to be like feeling like you have to investigate why or anything like that, that's important too, because I feel like that's using your faith and trust in God and using your intuition to be like, okay, my soul is telling me in conjunction with what God is telling me that something about this situation, this person, this thing, whatever, is not for me, or something it could potentially hurt me. And so sometimes it's unfortunate, because it can be a situation where it's comes from an angle or a person that you would never expect it, or that you kind of can get disappointed. It's disappointing, to be honestly. It's disappointing, because usually it's coming from a space or a person where you wouldn't never do them that way. And so I think sometimes that can kind of keep you potentially stuck in a space too, because you're thinking, no, there's no way this person would do that. But everyone's capable of something, and you can never put anything past anybody. So just being able to trust it, and then also just being thankful too, like practicing saying, you know what, God, thank you for showing me that. Or you can even thank the person too, like, thank you for slipping up and showing me, and giving me the space to be able to make the decision to not give you any more of my energy, and you don't get access to me anymore, because you violated or you crossed the boundary, and so that's important too, to think about. And so I'm trying to think if there was another thing that I wanted to talk about. There was one more quote that I saw. It said, "There is a fate worse than death, and it's living to hear eulogies for the person you could have been." This one, maybe it's not exactly the same as what this is talking about, but it just struck me, because I think it's similar to what I was talking about a while ago, where I was saying that I don't ever want to I don't want to reach the, what the afterlife or whatever, and see like the life I could have had and then the life that I lived, and it not match up, at least together. And so, I guess it's just like saying, like, you got to take chances, and you got to learn to let God be in control, because that is going to be the best option for you to get to where it is that you deserve to be, and where your soul is going to thrive and your higher self is going to shine. And that's better than just living in fear, because I feel like the part about saying is living to hear eulogies, you're going to hear eulogies of what you could have been, like all the goals that you could have accomplished, all the dreams you could have lived, and stuff like that, because you maybe were afraid to take a chance, or you didn't follow your heart, or you didn't listen to what God told you to do. You were maybe stubborn, stuck in your ways, or you were just scared to try something else, or to go a different direction than what you've been going. And I think that's important, especially during this Mercury retrograde, is to just like let things fall off. I think we're in fall right now, or we're about to be officially in fall, and we all know fall is about the seasons changing, the weather changes, the leaves are falling. It's time for growth. And so that is a time right now too. Like everything is coming together, and I know for me, sometimes it feels like things are falling apart, but it could be falling apart in the sense of like revealing what I couldn't see before because of where I was before, and I wasn't in a space to be able to see it. And now things have calmed down where I'm able to see things and now take into my own hands of what I want to do with that. And so I think that's something to think about as well during this retrograde, and more so just like pay attention to things and pay attention to the people that you have around you. Make sure you kind of use this time as a check-in to see like, okay, is this person, thing, whatever, where I'm at, is how I'm living, is that how I want to go into the next season? And if there are things that you feel, you've been holding on to, or you need to let go of, then it could be a good time to do so, to release and let that be, and make room for the things that are going to help you and benefit you to your next level, and get you to where you want to be. And so hope that was helpful to somebody. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. It seems like it's pretty decent outside. I haven't been outside yet, but I'm going out later today. Trying to think. Yeah, I think that's kind of like the only close up that I have. There's no real like stories or nothing that I really want to talk about. But I did want to do a little check-in episode to make sure, kind of get some kind of message out there, and just hopefully you guys take advantage of the day. And if you don't have to work, then definitely rest yourself, rest your body, and your mind too. It was interesting because I was having a conversation with my friend, and he was making a joke about me always being sleepy or whatever. And he made a good point, because he was saying like he does the same thing. Like, people who process internally are typically sleepy because their brains are exhausted. That's what he told me. And I was like, I never thought about that, but it's true though, because we process internally. So your brain is constantly working to try to figure out why something happened, or why someone's doing something, or why things are the way they are. And that can become exhausting, because you're not feeling through things, you're thinking through things. So that's something also that I'm learning during this retrograde, is to learn how to feel more and allow myself to feel. I talked about like being more emotionally available and more vulnerable, even with things when they're not comfortable or they're gonna potentially hurt. It's still a part of life and growing. So just being able and being open to exploring that too. So hopefully, you guys are having a better or good, decent Mercury retrograde. It's not affecting you too much. I know for me, like I said, for the most part, it has been smooth, but there have been times where emotionally I am getting kind of tired, and I'm just kind of ready for the shift, because I feel like things are shifting and changing within my life. It's just like that space of being in the wilderness and getting through. So if anyone else is similar or feeling the same, I'm with you. I'm feeling it. We're gonna get through it. Just keep talking to God and writing your things down, and just staying focused on what it is that you want to do and where you're trying to go, and take people and things with you that are going to help you. Don't allow yourself to be burdened with things that no longer serve you, and practice discernment, and take care of yourself. So with that being said, I'm your host, Chanel. This is Black Hippie Lounge. As always, thank you for listening. And if you can, follow the podcast, rate and review 5 stars. Tell me what you like about it, what you want to see different, any suggestions. You can DM me, follow me on Instagram or Twitter and TikTok at Black Hippie Lounge. Trying to think what else. As you always, meditate, manifest, invest in you, and have a great rest of your week and Mercury retrograde. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel.